Hello and welcome to the Appleby Hour. My name is Appleby, and this video is I'm not gonna lie, it makes me it irks me a little bit to make this video because I've always been, I don't know, sort of the stereotypical kind of atheist, anti-theist, and I suppose I still am. Um, but in my search to find the root cause, the true heart of the problem I saw in religion, which is essentially anti-empiricism, I sort of, I came up with this term, anti-fideist, anti-faith, and I like that. I like that term. I would still consider myself to be anti-fideist, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I sort of came to understand the point that a lot of Christians will make when they argue with atheists, that it requires faith to be an atheist. Now, what they really mean, because theists like to lump a lot of positions together, like, oh, you're a naturalist, you're a materialist, you're this, you're that, because you're an atheist. And that isn't always true. But in my case, it is. There's a certain culture amongst atheists, and it kind of, those things are prominent parts of it. But it isn't true, it isn't right to say that all atheists are materialists. There are some atheists who believe in, like, astrology and chakras and ghosts and ghouls and spookums in the night. You know, that's a thing. But no, I didn't believe any of that. I was a materialist, but I came up against this wall. It's essentially the hard problem of consciousness. I pressed myself up against the veil that separates where we are from whatever reality might be out there. And there I discovered faith once again, because it is possible, I believe, to live without faith, but not without it basically living as a solipsist. And when I say that, I mean living only for oneself, assuming that other people do not exist. Because without faith, you cannot bridge that gap. Because we are, all of us, stuck inside of our own experience. And to reach out to another, as I am doing to you now, through this medium, and try to make a connection, sort of assumes their existence. Our social nature prescribes us faith. So faith is an inherent part of the human experience, irreducible. And it is because of this contradiction between our, or at least our culture in the West, our obsession with rationality on one hand, and on the other, our desire for socialization. These two things don't mix without faith to act as a bridge, to bridge that gap. We must have faith in our shared reality, and faith that we all have an internal experience comparable and equal to one another's. That when I look into your eyes, I know that you are in there looking back at me. And that is a faith claim. And there's simply no way to get around that. The solipsists have a position which is irrefutable. And it can't be merely dismissed because people don't like the consequences of it. The phenomenologists, it's the same. And so I sort of am both. I'm certainly a phenomenologist. And I suppose you could see my view of the world as solipsistic. But again, I am advocating not that we turn away from each other, because I believe that would be sort of a resistance of our nature. And I think that never leads to good outcomes. We should play our nature out, and if we truly believe that it's a problem, then maybe we need to change our nature and, get our hands a little dirty and start monkeying with the genome. But unless we make come to that conclusion, I think it makes more sense to turn into the skid, to accept the faith, acknowledge it for what it is, because right now there's a real denial of it. You know, the Christians, I hate to say it, have a point when they say that atheism also requires faith. Now, it certainly requires less faith than belief in God, because they also have to believe in the existence of other people, uh, in addition to their other bullshit. So I still am an anti-fideist. I believe in the reduction of faith as much as possible. But this faith cannot be reduced. It's the origin of faith. We, we look out to the world, people, this hypothesis is whatever. It isn't super respected these days, but let's just say it's true. Like religion origin, the origin of religion is in animism, the belief that each part of nature, each thing has its own spirit. Now, why would we think that? It's because of this faith that we have to believe that your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your friends, and your loved ones, they must be real. We need that. We're social creatures. And if they're real, if they have a soul, if you'll allow the poetic license, then why not the rock, the tree, the squirrel? It's a logical extension of this necessary part of our being. And so I think that wraps everything up in a nice little bow. I believe that our desire to be social is the origin of our faith and our spirituality, and that is an essential part of the human experience, which cannot be excised without changing what the human experience is. And that's all I had to say on that subject. Comments. Do it. Thanks for watching.